Okay, seems like I'm back. Yes, I'm back. I can see image again. Sorry, I had to visitor coming. I had to stop the video when I'm recording. So now, well, let's get started, right? Let's get into it. Usually when I start, what I like to have is I try to at least match a little bit the ahead. I think it helps me to visualize like how the model gonna look like. I don't go over too much in details of the model itself, but I like to have at least a basis and to me to get the flow of going. What I think it's important also is like that you have a strategy for what you want to achieve. So I will go back to this camera where I can show this view, where I can show you the miniature, the concept again. So the idea is like we're gonna have the three brothers together, and my goal is like I will try to model first one of them, a basic shape, and from this one I will later deviate to the other ones. The way I like to do is I like to model first like separated limbs, like they are gonna be separated parts, because then I can just as easily, it's almost like the symmetrical. If I make change to one side of the leg, the other leg get modified at the same time. You'll see when I get there. And I will use symmetry a lot in the beginning. Later on, when the model gets more advanced, I will stop using the symmetry to make a more unique face. For example, especially on the expressions, as you can see on the concept, like he has a very funny expression. Even though I'm not gonna be 100% following this concept, this is the main idea. What is also important, I want to say, is think about weight distribution, because this is gonna be printed later on, and it has to be in a way the stand not fall apart. So I will have like a little base here to also help distribute the weight. But if I see like this image right now, for me it feels like it would fall forward because of the weight distribution right now. So I would, when I model, I will try to keep a little bit more to the center, like these guys, maybe doing more like an S curve. You'll see later what I mean. And I also like the expression, but the boy is looking forward, but I think I'm gonna change it for him, maybe pointing with his staff, because if you see on the illustrations, like each brother has a unique item, at least that's how I perceive it. The taller one has this super cool necklace, the middle one has the book, and the youngest one has the staff. So I can see like they have them here, but the staff, I feel it's like not so pronounced. So I might change like that he's like this, but pointing with the staff up. I think it's gonna be a very fun illustration, and not so. I'll try not to be as aggressive. I like the smiley on the face of this one over here, and overall most of the concepts that I have seen, they are very smiley. So I'll try to portray that, and I also think it's gonna be a fun exercise for Sculpt, like a more happy face. Going back to my work here, you see I got a lot of like a more younger kid than actually on the concepts. They feels to me like they're more like 4 or 5 years old, and that's, I would imagine like maybe this one is around 6, 8 and 12. That's how I would guess. Later on, when I send to my client, he's probably gonna give me feedback, and I'm gonna have to adjust for that. But that's the ages that I'm thinking it is. Maybe 6, 8 and 10, more or less, like the 2 years apart from each other. That could be it. Yeah, okay, I think I'm deviating so much. Let's go jump into Blender, and then I'm gonna go and tell you I start sculpting something. And I like to use the new Sculpt tools a lot. I usually start with a box and go straight into Sculpt mode and activate symmetry. And if you try to sculpt it right now, you see like nothing happens, and that is because the geometry doesn't have enough polygons. I will see if I can. Hold on, now it's confused by this. Where is my wireframe? Is in this one. If you see the wireframe, it shows you like these lines are called edges, and they're connected by vertex, and that's what it allows you to manipulate the face. So in order for be able to sculpt on this, I needed to add more resolution. I could do this by adding a subdivision, for example, like this, and the cube automatically become more like a sphere, and you can see it has a lot of more polygons, but it still actually, it is just a modifier. It still has exactly the same amount of polygons. If I disable the modifier, you see, go back to the cube. And in order to achieve, to have this resolution, I have to apply the modifier. And now you can see like the little dot in the middle of the cursor. They snap to the vertex. I don't know if the screen is gonna pick up on the stream, but that's how you can see like how much polygons you have. And now if you push, you can manipulate much better. So I will try to block out the basic shapes of a head. The thing I use a lot in Blender when modeling is the annotation tools. The annotation tools allows you, was the old grease pencils in the old Blender. Now Blender has a new grease pencil, but we might talk about that later. What it allows you to do is like to draw on the screen, and you can if you press D, you can just hold D and drag your mouse, you draw. And if you give the D press and left click, you erase. And this for me it's very handy because I like to draw when I'm thinking. So I'm gonna draw here like the basic proportion of the head. So more or less here would be like the eyebrow, and then you can, since it's a kid, I like to draw with a triangle like this. So in here would be like mouth corner up to here, and then in here like chin. Like I'm having my concept on the side to help me visualize how the masters used to portray kids. So chin, and here tiny nose. I really like the how they draw their nose is almost like 3 balls, almost like this, and very big eyes. That's one thing that I notice a lot, predominant on the drawings of the kids. Massive eyes. This is just for me to grab the concept. I'm actually, when I do this, I'm thinking out loud, like what do I need to achieve. And they also have, especially on the line decker drawing, I don't know if I can drag like this. No, it doesn't work, sorry. So it has like a very big chin like this, the very cute face, round, very round, and big ears. Kids have big ears, especially on this age. So I'm mapping like this, and big forehead. They have a massive forehead, and the hair. So this is the shape I'm gonna try to achieve in the front view, and then I usually slide to the side view. If you hold out and you slide, you can control the direction you're seeing. So this will be the front, and this will be the side view. So I will just again quick sketch more or less to think of the shape. So here would be like the mass of the cranium, and then the eyes would be more or less in here, massive eyes, again proportionally speaking for the size of the head, and especially I have kids, and they have like this super pointy nose. I always find this fascinating how curved this thing is. It's almost like a slide that you can go down, and then they have like this long mouth forward and massive cheeks, tiny little chin, and then big ears around the ear. Would be like the ear hair coming, something like this. And then like, so my goal for today, I would like to grab have a more or less of a shape, a resemblance of a face, and if it's good and it's not too late, we keep going. So let's go. Usually my grab brush to adjust the clay in the position. I'll call this clay right now, but yeah, it's just a sphere of polygons. You can always like subdivide and move, but the new Blender has this, it's called the voxel remesher. It means it's if you press Shift R, it will show you like these squares. This is the size of your polygons. It's imagine if you put your sphere inside of a pool of these squares. Imagine like, how I'm gonna explain this. If you Minecraft your shape, and you're gonna see it's like as soon as I let go of this, and if I press Ctrl R, you see that it added like that size of polygons all around the thing. It doesn't really keep the topology that I had. The topology gets destroyed, but it does. You can change that on here on your remesh, the way you're doing. There is more than one type of remesher, but for now it is fine. I try to use don't use too much polygons. This is a mistake that I think it's very easy to make, that people try to have too much polygon at first. I think you have to have just enough geometry to define the basic shape, but don't go overboard, because I find it harder later to control if you have too much. And I'll try to keep it like smooth and more just blocking out the mess. The good thing is like from far away your brush feels much bigger, so you can move more mass at once, and when you need detail you can get closer, and then you move more precise and more playing around. I try to move fast. Try to move fast to block things. Don't lose too much time on details, because everything is going to change. Everything has to change anyway. It's don't get stuck to any fine detail for quite some time, because we're gonna get there eventually, but don't rush. Right now it's more important to get proportion and a feeling for the character than over saturate with detail, right? So I'm trying here like to follow along my drawing to block out the head of a kid. Let's see how it goes. Yeah. The stream is still not. I'm still have like the stream private. That's why I don't have it. I don't know if people would actually make questions, but I think if I had questions, it would be much easier for me to talk along, and it would be more funny. But maybe on the future streams, if you guys like what you see and want to participate, that's something I would totally up to it, to have more people asking questions and participating and things like this. I will now disable the outline, the wireframe, because it's actually distracting me. Okay. The reason why I like to use the annotation tools over the new grease pencils when I'm drawing these things is because it's very easy for me to enable and disable them, right? So you can see I have there like very easy things to check. Now let's talk a little bit about the brush. That right now I was just using the grab. The brush that I like to use a lot is these two, is the Sculpt Draw and the Draw Sharp. The Sculpt Draw, what it adds, it's kind of like pushing your face, your geometry outside or inside. You see, so I'm gonna smooth it out a little bit, and I'm gonna use it to draw like the nose in here, because I really like this fluffiness of a kid's nose. Also notice that you can actually use a brush, the brushes in Blender, you can use it positively or negatively. If you hold the control, you invert the direction the brush is. So right now it's like it's pushing geometry outside. If I hold control and click, I'm actually pulling inside. So by pulling and pushing, you can actually define the shape you want. So I'm just gonna block here like the cheek area. Always remember, this is right now is more just a sketch. I have a sketch in the shape, trying to find the character. And this is the Draw Sharp. It's the one, the brush you're gonna see me using a lot throughout the process. It's very similar to the first one, to the Sculpt Draw, but it's a much more sharper point. If I press it hard, it makes like these deep cuts. And it's inverted already, so this brush, you can actually save this in preference to be exactly the same, but I like the way it is. So this is more like my chisel tool. I use it to cut shapes, and sometimes I invert it and pull like little details out, like I'm pulling out this mouth. Right, so just little blocking out. If the face is too much of infant, I apologize. I actually have, as I mentioned before, I have 3 kids, and they are still very young. My son is only 5, and inevitably I will have a little bit of him on this, because this is the kid that I see on every day. And so, but this again, when we talk to the client, I will adjust it afterwards. I probably gonna actually do that now. I will add I added this little target. This is called the 3D cursor. This is very unique to Blender, and it's actually pretty awesome when you get used to it. But right now, what I'm gonna use this is, wherever it is, it's gonna, if I add a new geometry, it's gonna appear in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add like in here a UV sphere. It's just to block an eye. So I'll put like more geometry to this sphere. This is just gonna be my eyeballs, and I'm also gonna move the cursor to the word origin, where I'm gonna add here an empty. This is the word empty, and to this sphere I'm gonna mirror it, so I know it's exactly they are mirror and symmetrical. And for that I'm gonna use the axis that I just created. Actually, you can pick it up by here. It's the empty. So you see, like, they are exactly in the position, and if I move them around, they move together. So this is gonna be good because I can just position a proper sphere here, and I can use that as a reference for my eye. Eyes are, I always struggle with eyes. I tend to make my eyes too big. I don't know, it's because I'm too skinny or so. It's hard to know. I don't know exactly what to say on the streams, and I apologize if I'm speaking too much, but as you can see, I still don't have the music on. I'm just talking about, so if you guys don't like to hear what I'm saying, feel free to put your music and just enjoy the show, maybe even speed it up. Who knows how it's gonna be. So I'm just like blocking where the eye is gonna be, and I want the kid eye to be more like this shape. Thinking shape wise, I like this this shape like this. For an eye, it's almost like a horse eye, more or less. But I think this is help on the cuteness of the kid, and with some fold, skin fold over top of the eye. You also can hide the annotation tools in here if they are too distracting. I'm gonna do that for now. And here it's gonna be good because I can actually use the different brushes to show how I do. So I'm gonna make like a more cut here and use the inflate brush. What the inflate brush does, it pulls like the geometry towards its normal outside. So it's almost like if you had like a straw and you were blowing from inside the thing, and what it does, if you have like a cut, it puts the cuts together like this, and push the geometry close to each other, and this is really help to read the shape. Right, so yeah, I think like we're more or less having infant face. Might be too young for what we want for these characters. I definitely think it's the mouth. It's very baby mouth. The overall baby proportion, I think it's not really helping on the what we want to achieve, but we're still searching for the character. It doesn't really matter that much right now. So let's grab the brush and pull it off. Find the neck. I smooth out. You can smooth out your shapes with holding Shift. This is the way I usually like to work. I pull like a shape around and pull, and if you see like here the polygons are very stretchy, you have like these squares much bigger here than over here. That's when I usually decide like it's time to remesh. Sometimes you lose some detail when you remesh. It's part of the game, and then you increase your resolution, or you save your copy and reproject. I mean, there is many ways that you can avoid it, but again, always remember we are still very early in the process. We are just blocking. It's something I have to even repeat to myself all the time. Don't marry to any detail right now. Right now we are just trying to find the character and having fun with pulling and pushing polygons. Okay, let's not lose too much time on that. We need an ear. What we're gonna do is, for that, I actually gonna add a new geometry. Doesn't really matter whatever it is because I'm gonna decimate, but I always find it's a little bit easier if you have more or less of the volume that you want to achieve. And always remember to apply your transformations before you go to sculpt mode, because otherwise the way the thing works, it's a little bit different. I mean the scale, these faces would be unproportionally divided if you scale up your geometry and didn't apply the transformation. So it's always a good practice to remember to scale. As you can see right now, I only have one ear. I'm actually working on just one side. This is not a problem because I will symmetrize the character after the fact. I will actually symmetrize the ear after I model. Actually, this is a good opportunity to show you exactly what I mean before by making a copy. If I make a duplicate of the piece, like with the holding Alt and D, and that means like if I'm now they are actually they're not just simple copy, but they are linked copy. So if I make changes to one side, it affects the every linked copy. And the good thing is like you can actually, if you go in object mode, you can still modify. You can scale it up or scale it down. But what I'm gonna do is like I will scale it in -1 minus x. So what it did is it flipped my ear. It's kind of hard to show. Hold on, let me make it more visible. Where is the front? So you can. Okay, so this side here is the front. Right. So as you can see, like this ear here is exactly a copy of the other one, and I can just pull it off. And this is the way I'm gonna use it for all the parts of the character, because the good thing is it's better than I mean, for this case right now makes no sense. It would be much easier to just apply a mirror modifier to this, because I'm just symmetrical mirroring. But later on I'm gonna use this technique for arms and limbs, and the good thing is you can actually position them around, and that's how I'm gonna achieve the basic pose of the character before I start sculpting a more final version. And after you start, what I do is like after I sculpt to a point that you can actually more or less see how the character's gonna be, and then I send it to the client to get his feedback to see how it's going, and if this is more or less what he wants, changes that I should keep in mind, and things like this. And the good thing is like even if you retopologize, they still pass to the other side. I saw this technique. This is technique I didn't came up with. I actually saw this, and this is a YouTuber, a German YouTuber. I'm sorry I forgot his name, but he has a tutorial with a dragon, how to model a dragon, and he used this. And I have been doing the same ever since I saw that. I thought it was a very clever technique, and yeah, for me it's more working with miniatures. For me, this is it's a really huge time saver, because I can just cut parts, because it is so easy to put pieces back together later on. And the advantage also to work in splitted parts is because you can Blender gets faster as well, because you're processing less geometries in one single object. So it's yeah, it's a good thing to know. I find. Okay, big ears. Big ears. I always find ears to be I have big ears myself. I have had big ears when I was a kid. They always made fun of me that I had huge ears. I used to be called Topo Jiju. I guess you guys, young people, don't know that, but on the 80s that was very big in Italy. Actually, things was a little mouse. Man, they made so much fun of me that I was Topo Jiju. Yeah, things that you remember. Oh man. Well, anyway. So again, I will sometimes I will use the shortcuts for the brushes. Right now I changed to the inflate brush. The inflate brush is like the blue brush. So if you see like things getting inflated, it's probably because I changed to the inflate. I actually downloaded the screencast keys so you guys can see what I'm pressing, but I found that it actually made my system a little bit slower than I'm used to, and was actually driving me a little bit nervous. So I'm not gonna use the screencast. If you really want me to in the near future, send me put a comment on this video, and I will think about for future ones, and I might actually use if I get a better system anyway. Yeah, this is it's a fun experience so far. I hope I'm not annoying you guys too much by talking all the time. I'm not like that. I usually work and not in silence, as I mentioned before. I usually have my music on when I'm working. But yeah, you know how this in copyright things are, and I don't know what you guys like to hear. Hopefully, if you're still listening to this, or you muted me because you don't want to hear, or you actually surprised, like, oh man, what the guy gonna say next? It's a mystery, because I also don't know. I like to be on the flow. I like to think like there's someone listening over there. Yeah. Then there's okay. I'm gonna put the screencast because it might be easy. Usually they use this key, the numpad slash. This goes in the solo mode in Blender. I use this a lot, and I wanted to show you here this problem here. This happens when your brush is your geometry is too small, and your brush actually affects the inside of it. And what happened here is like this is collapsed. Like these polygons here pretty much collapses with this one. So if I would decimate now, re-geometrize now, it would create problems. Try to do it now so you guys can see. Well, it's not so bad, but this happens very often in ZBrush, that it makes holes in geometry, and it's something you should avoid. This is not good to have. The one way you can actually solve this, if you go to the tool, and I'm gonna use it for this, the clay strip brush, and if you go in advanced, it has like an auto mask in the front faces only. And what this makes is like even if I brush here, it will only add the geometry on these things and not affect the thing that was on the background. I'm gonna redo to show you the effect without this. So if I would brush like this, you will see like all the detail is lost, and that's something we don't want. So I will keep this on, and this is something that I like to have it very often. So I will add this to my. I can't add this to my quick favorite. No, yeah, I have an add-on that actually has a button right on top to add the back face masking for brushes, and this is something I find is so useful, and I usually forget, and that's how these mistakes happen. And when you fill it up right now, you can also now like remesh it, and now it's clean and it's a more volume. So for now I'm just trying like to still blocking up the ear, but I'm start thinking that I'm losing too much time on the ear, so it's time to move on. Move on, come on, move on. Speaking of ears, I'll make a new annotation. I always try the ear, usually it's the shape it is a Y. You always have a Y and a C, so this is the things. Try to remember that, and that's where I'm modeling. And yeah, sorry if this is too basic. Okay, so get out of the isolation mode, and yeah, my ears actually I like it to be this yellow dot is called the pivot point, right? So this is the origin of your geometry. That is where if I would rotate the model, it rotates over that point. And you can actually move this apart. You can put your 3D cursor in the point that you want it to be, and you can press Shift S. Sorry, Shift S to put your. You can put your cursor wherever you want. Let me disable this screencast keys because it's driving us. And if you right click on it, you can set your origin to your 3D cursor, which is like this arrow. Now like that yellow dot is right there, and now if I rotate, it rotates from that point on. So I'm gonna use this like to position the ear a little bit better. Yeah, and if you change the origin point, it will also affect the mirror. That's something that you have to be mind of. So I will copy the modifier from the, I'm gonna Control L and link the modifiers so they have exactly the same modifier. I don't want that. No, I don't want to link the modifiers because I don't want to have the subdivision surface. So I'm just gonna add a new mirror here. And I'm gonna use again my word empty, which is this word that empty that we create right in the center, and then I have like both ears. And again, the good thing about that is because you can move them around and position and trying to find a better position for the ear and things like this. Alright, so now we'll go back to the head and finesse it a little bit more. Tempora. Yeah, let's put back my annotation so you can see if I'm too far. Okay, I think if I put the hair now, it's gonna look a little bit cool. So let's add we have here, I'm gonna add here a sphere. This is again, we're just blocking out, just a sketch. Always remember, this is just a sketch. For this one, you can see here I could turn on the symmetry X to work, but I don't want to have a symmetry on the hair because hair usually are not very symmetrical. And if you have like too symmetrical, it's I mean the hair is just like to give the character to this face that we are modeling. So I want it to be asymmetrical for now. And it always going to be asymmetrical, though. What I'm saying, that's a problem. I mean, you can notice by my accent, English is not my main language. It's the language I'm talking now all the time because I live in Germany and I work in a company that is, main language is English for work. There's a lot of international arbeiters, workers. So yeah, it's nice if you can speak German, but I don't speak German yet. So I speak English with this strong accent. I apologize, but I hope you guys can follow along. As you saw, I was like I like to block the shape with I try to use the grab brush as much as possible in the beginning because it really feels like you're playing with a ball of clay. The feeling is, but your fingers are clean. It's nice. How nice is that? Huh? Digital band. This is awesome. If you've never done a sculpture before, I highly recommend to do grab Blender. It is pretty fun. It's free, and you can lose track of time. Actually, this is something that I plan to start doing. It's timing myself more. That's actually one of the advantages of recording these streams, because I actually can see for how long this stream has been going on. It's already like 38 minutes. Man, 38 minutes. Okay. Not bad. Could be better. Yeah, can always be better. I always try to improve a little bit every day. Practice. That's actually, this is something I never talked about before, but oh yeah, this is my first stream, so I never talked about it much before. But the reasons why I joined Fiverr and why I'm actually making these models, because I was in good contact on Fiverr to model this miniature, is because I found that if I have like a client waiting for something, it really helps me push and find the time to work. And this is not like my day-to-day job, and it is a way that I found to practice. For an artist, I think practice is really important. You should practice your fundamentals, drawing, try always to find the time to practice and to improve as an artist. Even if I'm not like, I don't work doing a traditional drawing, I try to draw at least a little bit every day. I think it really helps on visualize forms. My point is like, try to be a full-on artist. I mean, have a little bit of even if you just want to model, you should always study a little bit of composition, lighting, all sorts of departments of art, because it will help you become a better artist overall. It's all part. They are connected. So I'm just gonna grab a feeling for waves, what kind of waves I want to have for this here. Okay, I will look at the I will share, go back to this one, so I can show you what I am actually looking for. Alright, so I would imagine this is the youngest one. It's more like this one, this guy over here, the blue one. He's a little bit more full. His face is a little bit more full, and his hair is it has like a more splitted hair on one corner. It's like this corner here. It would be where his hair is the division, and his hair is on the concept. It's much bigger, so I have to increase the size. And here on the sides as well, he has like this really fun hair. Actually, I quite like it. But you see his ear through the hair, so I will push here this inside. You can pull against the normal of your brush if you hold the control, so it's you really like pull into the inside towards your brush. So this is very good for this way. Like I know my ear is right here, so if I hold control and pull, I'm pulling it towards the brush direction to the inside, and I can carve it onto the ear up here off like that, right? So I will increase my polygons here, and now I'm gonna use my clay strip. The clay strip brush, the clay strip brush is a brush that it's very good to block, because it gives it this square shape, and it's very nice because you can actually feel like the flock of the hair. So I'm just flocking. Yeah, even though flock is a proper word, but no, I hope you understand what I mean. I'm just like trying to get like this big volume of hair. And then well, after I do this, I usually come with my draw sharp brush and just draw the cuts in between, like this. And sometimes I pull it opposite to get a more directionality. And yeah, and voila. Okay, let's add a new node. No, not this one. A new node here, and let's draw a better volume, because I find it easier to think with a pencil, and that's to me one of the advantages of Blender, is because you can actually draw right onto the screen, and it really, at least for me, really helps me think what I'm trying to achieve. Yeah, definitely I think the face is too much baby face, and he's a little bit older than that. I have to adjust. But again, he has to look cute, right? I mean, especially because he's the youngest one. So now I'm actually gonna draw a little bit more of trying to actually draw proportion wise how I actually see this boy. And that's when I try to keep like the measurements that we spoke before on the. Actually, I'm not sure if I'm still showing my other screen. Yes, I am. Here. Remember this thing? So actually, this is like how I would go. This would be like the proportion of the eldest one, and this is the youngest one, and the middle one. Yeah, you know what I'm going somewhere in here. So it's you can see it's like one head, and then you have like one. It doesn't look like exactly the same measurements. Yeah, I'll just block. It's like two heads like to the torso. So I'll make like a new annotation just for in red, so we can easily see. So head, and then let's say like one head, two head. So here's like where his torso would be done, and then maybe 2.5 more for the onto his feet, right? Something like this. So let's go back to my note. So arm, here it will be like his arm. I find it's so much easier to think when you draw. And I mean, the good thing is like you're not married to anything, right? You can change all this. This is very easy to change in 3D as well as 2D. We are just trying to find the character, as I mentioned before. So I'll go back here to my concept to see how actually he dress. He has like a very big cloth on his belt, his belly, and a little X for the jacket. and this concept here, he changed the cloth quite a bit, and I'm actually gonna go more towards the blue, orange, and red, because it's on the art book that the client sent me is more present with these clothes. So this is the clothing I'm gonna go for. Okay, the other hand is gonna be here somehow. Oh, he's the one with the staff. Okay. Yeah, the youngest one is the one with the staff. Again, as I mentioned before, I wanted to have a very line deckerish folds, so very sharp cuts. I think this will be very nice on a print, on a 3D model, and gonna be much easier to define the silhouette we're going for with the character. Yeah, you're not gonna see much of this because they're gonna be posted one on top of the other, but it's good to block out the proportion like this, and then reposition the character on the pose that he's gonna be in the final pose of the sculpt. Okay, so I think this is a good from far away. It looks okay. So this will be like the small one, the middle one will be like here, this size of this head, and the taller one is gonna be here. The taller one, I would say like the middle one, it's more towards the size of the smaller one, so it's tiny little bit taller. In here you can see with the spiky hair, a more fill hair. I had the body proportion, it's a little bit more on the thick side, which is cool. I quite like that. The game the client is doing. You have like a different body shapes, that you don't have like the skinny. Everybody's pretty skinny in this world. I really appreciate that, and this is definitely something that caught my eye when I saw the concept art, and it's something that I want to portray on the miniatures. And it's something that unfortunately to me lost a little bit in here. I think like the three kids, they are too the same, and I like more here because they are a little bit more different body size. I would say the tallest one is a little bit more the skinnier of the three of them, and the other two are more healthy, and yeah. I mean, I hope I'm not sound bad. And I really like the curliness on the concept here and in here. Yeah, I think this concept it's beautifully rendered, and but I wish the hair was even bigger, like in this one. He has, I don't know, there's something on this concept that reminds me of Tom Hanks on Big, when he was still pretty young, Tom Hanks, and he had a very curly hair. Okay, so this would be the lineup. If I would say, perhaps this guy a little bit taller. I think this could work. So let's keep blocking the hair. When the geometry gets too low, remesh and keep swimming, as Dory would say. it would be fun to have people asking questions and back and forth. I'm trying to make this video for people who, when we're talking about if I wanted to record this process of me making this sculpture, one of the things that we said is like for maybe inspiring people who might think about having this as a profession and a career. And yeah, that totally resonated with me, because I totally encourage you. When I was young, being an artist was something that wasn't very feasible. I mean, at least in Brazil, you if you were like a sculptor, probably would be just working during carnival times, making like those huge cars. That was like on the beginning of the 80s, right? I'm from the 1980. So it wasn't a very good. There wasn't a real industry. There wasn't a video game wasn't what it is nowadays. So nowadays you can make a living doing artwork. It is a nice way of make a living. I mean, I'm not rich or anything like that, but yeah, I can put food on the house, and I have a lot of fun doing. And more important than just having fun doing, I feel like I can contribute to visions and help products come into life. And it is a very satisfying feeling when you feel like you actually help people. This is like one of the advantages of having joined Fiverr, because I usually don't have my rates are very low on Fiverr. I don't charge much because I find like you don't have that many big companies on Fiverr. You have most of people that are like me and you, trying to bring their products to life, and you can, if you help them, this is part of the payment for me, and also allows me to, as I mentioned before, it allows me to practice. You have to give deadline. There is a lot of little advantages. It's not just about the money, right? It's money. It's important and it's good to have, but it's not the main thing. It's friendship. I don't want to be as bold as saying friendship, but it's kind of like, it's like, it's the feeling that you helping. Especially if, like, for example, for this project, the Gaia Seed, the guys from the Bifrost Studio, they are when I read the article and the things I read about the vision of the project, I really like so being part of things like this, for me, it's really cool. I have a full-time job. Right now I'm actually can dedicate a little bit more time to these miniatures because I'm on vacation, and then I can spend more time on the road on Sculpt. Some of my family don't call me, I can keep going. But besides that, I try to make like at least an hour. I find an hour, something instead of playing a video game or binge watching series on Netflix or Amazon Prime. I try finding an hour that I can dedicate to improve myself as an artist, and communication with people. This is the thing. Fiverr will help you with that. You have to talk with your client. You have to get feedback. You have to learn to deal with bad reviews, reaction, and I don't know. I find it's nice. It opens like this. It opens for you for different opinions. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on the hair right now because this day is still very loose. I'm more towards like the directionality that I want to have. I think it's like it's gonna be good. I always find it's easier if you have like big shapes like this that you read fast, and then you say like, oh, okay, yeah, right. It's not about like modeling every little strand of hair. It's more like yeah, it's a natural way how a curly, wavy hair would be in the wind, right? So this is the thing I'm trying to keep in mind, and again, it's this is something when you do drawing, you kind of realize, add more details on in certain parts, and leave some parts clear and easy, so your eye always have like a place to rest. So I wanna like add the details like here, because this is really emphasize like the division of the hair on the front, and I like this curl here actually throws the view towards the face of the character. I want to keep that like that. Everything that you help bring your viewer to the face, because face is already something that's gonna call attention. We humans being are trained to look at face. That's the first place you actually gonna look, but I want your eye to wander more around this area, so I'm gonna use like little tricks like this, having like the pointiness of the hair pointing towards the direction. So this is something that in drawing you do a lot, like you use like these shapes to help guide where your eye should look. Of course, this is a theory. There is actually James Gurney. He's a very good painter and amazing in the artist. And he made like I remember watching his blog, Gurney Journey, that he saw a scientist study about this eye map, the eye mapping, right? They track your eye when you're looking at an image, and to see if it would actually follow the artist's perception, and it failed miserably. It's not a science. It's not perfect, but still it's something that you should. I always think like you should try to do things with intention, even if it's not 100% that doesn't work exactly. You at least you had a reason why you did something. Don't just do by chance. You could, but I mean, you should be able to justify your decisions. Why is the hair like this? And you say, yeah, it is like this because this is what I was trying to do. I might have not been as successful as I wanted to, but at least this was the thought process behind. And every time that you actually have like a thought behind something, I find it gets stronger, right? It's at least in my point of view, I would have to fail by trying to do something than achieving something that I have no idea how I did. If you know what I mean, it's like at least if I tried like to, okay, I'm doing this for this reason, and then I get feedback say like, oh, it didn't work. I can work on that again next time. But if I'd had no plan, it just happened, and then people say, oh, that's nice, and then you don't know why that was nice. What make it look nice, right? So this is something I try keeping in mind when I take decisions. Like, okay, then later I will show this model to friends of mine that are artists that I respect, and I'm gonna ask them, what do you think of this? Do you think really it helps? Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that I try to do this? Could you realize that, or was totally lost? Yeah, I think I'm deviating again too much. You see, as I have this huge gap, I could just use the pinch. The pinch, what it does is like, it pinch together, it pulls together towards the center of the brush. So if I pass here, you see they got closer, but that's not what I'm gonna do. You're gonna still use the inflate trick and pull them off, because I will give a little bit more volume to the barks, and we'll pull them already to close together and make like this sharp seam that I quite like it. So that is like a way I usually model hairs. I model them apart and then I inflate them together to be more fluffy. Okay, I think my geometry is getting on the very stretched level, so I will remesh it again. Yeah, so now I have a more even quite geometry to work with. Alright, drawing again. I like the shapes like this, and I want the hair to be more like this, you know. I don't know if you can see what I mean, but it's more like in the end here of the head. I want it to be more into the inside on that part and bigger on the back, like this. I think to me this reads more like a cutesy kind of head, very reminiscent to me of the 19th century porcelain sculptures. I will later do some research and find some images and add them to the reference sheet. Actually, this is something I should have done. There's because I actually think they capture this innocence very well, and I know the wizards, they are not so innocent, especially reading the art book. They can be sometimes mischievous, kind of like Bart Simpson wise, but still they are the youth. They are the one of the youngest characters in the game, and in the universe, in the Gaia Seed universe, and I want to keep to have that, especially on the youngest one. The face is bothering me a little bit. It's too baby like, so I will make it a little bit less baby right now. The way to make him a little bit less baby, I will chisel his chin a little bit more and shrink a little bit the size of those cheek, because rounder cheek, more rounded shape is more baby like. The rounder, I mean, if you see like a baby face, it's almost a ball. So I will reduce this a little bit and pull a little bit more, and then I actually think it's already getting more into a 6 years old look. I think the eyes are also a bit off. Alright, it's getting hard, so I will reduce the size of my voxels so I can add more geometry, so I can play a little bit better. I am adding a little bit more detail now, because I think we are already starting to have a little bit of character in here that we can explore, and I will add a new node to really think about what I want. Now for that one, I'm gonna start looking to this reference more close. right? I really like this one and these ones, these three here. This is what I'm looking for right now. Line Decker, I'm a huge fan. Line Decker is one of my idols. So I'll try like to get to the more or less this on here. So first mouth, let's go start on the mouth shape. I love how the lips and go like that. And very sharp here, middle of the two lips connecting, and very pronounced middle of the, yeah, this is like what I'm looking for. Very M shape, and actually my shape is not that much yet, so move this down a little. Yeah, more like that. And if you see on the shadow here, it has a very pronounced bottom lip. Bottom lip is on his drawings are very forward and have this very deep shadow underneath the lip. And I don't have this on my character, so that's where I'm gonna work on right now. So move this all to the inside and pull the lip out. And if you see to the side of the lip, something more like this. Yeah, I think this already captures a little bit of more of youth, and I like this. If you see like on his drawing, the shadow, the way it cuts like this, that I would read this because it has like how that I would achieve this is if I had a cut like this. It's not a cut. I actually gonna use the crease because I'm gonna crease this together like that. Yeah, this is the Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger has a very pronounced this muscle, but I think it will help on the readability of the lips. Might be too strong. I'm gonna soften it up a little bit, and yeah, he doesn't have like a pointy chin, but some kids have like this one. And I like pointy chins. My nephew has a pointy chin, so I'll put a little bit of a pointy chin here. The way the crease brush works, it's a little bit like the pinch. It pulls the geometry. Sorry, I'm itching my fingers. It pulls the geometry towards the brush. But different than the pinch, it actually digs the face a little bit inside or outside. So I'll actually show here in the face to see what I mean. You see, like it's pulling the geometry together and pushing pinching a point inside. So it makes like these very sharp cuts. And you can also, as again, you flip, and the flip it's nice because it still pulls the geometry towards the brush like a pinch would do, but pointing geometry out, so it makes like this to the outside. So this is very, very helpful to define like cuts on geometry. So I'm cutting a little bit more here of the muzzle, I guess this is, and defining the nose. Oh, okay. I actually have to go now. It seems like my wife is about to call me. Hello, I'm recording.
Oh, missed.
Nah, it's okay.
We need to make a paper I'm recording.
I have to put a red light, like live. Oh, you're part of the record now.
I'm what?
You're part of the record. They can hear us. Alright. I guess for now it's how long have I been here on this? Sorry, let me see on the YouTube thing. It's I don't know, almost like a
You done soon?
yeah. I won't stop for now, and I will pick it up again another time. And I hope you guys like it so far. So thank you for watching.